Benjamin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Tēnā koe te minita, pai te tūtaki anō ki a koe. I'd like to ask you about the healthy consensual relationships kaupapa and how much of the $44.9 million allocated in ACC for that program is, sorry, oh, I've lost my train of thought. How much of the $44.9 million funding for ACC to promote healthy and consensual relationships after ACC stopped funding mates and dates in 2022 has been spent in the community? So that's just related to the notion of prevention of accidents and that core part of funding being key to that strategy.
We'll go to Benjamin's primary.
Thank you, Chair. Tēnā anō koe, e te minita. So just wanting to come back to sexual violence prevention, it's such a significant issue in Aotearoa, and ACC focuses a lot of its resources and attention to it, rightly so. I'd just like to understand around the program Hikitia, and if you, Minister, have sought advice or asked ACC how long it intends to pause the rollout of that prevention program, because it's very crucial. And in line with that, are you satisfied that currently our largest cities have no government funding for sexual violence prevention? Minister, I just want to understand how comfortable you are with the fact that there is no funding for sexual violence prevention in our largest cities. Are you comfortable with that as Minister for ACC?
A question from Benjamin.
Kia ora, yeah. So, thank you, Minister. The ACC has been documented as paying out significantly more money to men than women and people of other gender diverse identities. Are you concerned about the existing gender bias in ACC? And if yes, what are you planning to do to address it?
Are you suggesting that women should have more accidents?
I'm suggesting that payout and compensation should be equitable.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And I shouldn't be, I didn't intend that to be unnecessarily lighthearted because it's a fair question. But the way ACC does that is a matter for ACC. I wasn't aware of that statistic, so thank you for bringing that to my attention. I don't know whether you have a comment, Megan, or Dave.
I'll make a general comment and then ask Megan to follow up. But the way, and I've shared this, another analogy with the Minister, to my mind, ACC is like a club in which we are all members. We're all paying in one way or another, and some of us had to use that club. And ACC is the, if you like, the manager applying the rules that all of the members have worked out together. And when we apply those rules, we try to be blind to all of the diversity of its different types in New Zealand and just look and apply the law. So whether that may at times lead to inequities, then you know, that's something, you know, we are alive to, and there in our legislation there is an obligation to consider barriers to access. But there is no, we try to be absolutely neutral. We are your club manager, and we're trying to be absolutely neutral. Megan, do you want to add to that?
Maybe just one other slightly tangential observation, which is we receive claims through providers, so people don't come in and submit a claim to ACC, and so I think where there are risks of inequities are in sort of outside ACC's walls. So we now have a legislative obligation to report on what we understand about equity of access. And that's where there's the potential to understand who isn't claiming and then understand why, so that we can make sure that that we're reaching those people. They know they're entitled to care. Because I mean, I think as we're all saying, as an entitlement scheme, everyone's entitled. There are, you know, activities and sectors where there's a bit of a gender mix, and we, you know, our most unsafe industries are forestry, agriculture, and manufacturing, construction. But we do need to understand where there might be areas where people aren't coming forward and getting what they're entitled to. And so that's what equity of access is about.
Just to, I just guess I want to understand better around the comments on blindness and the model. We know that gender blindness may create barriers, because if we have a one-size-fits-all, that does create inequities, right? Because some people require supports to access things that they may historically not have had the provisions to do so. So if we are able to assess and figure out where those where those barriers are and where those inequities are, Minister, do you feel comfortable that you would want to proceed with addressing those and reviewing those and finding ways to address gender bias in the system that you are managers of?
Yeah, I think you ask a very fair question, and as I said, I wasn't aware of the initial statistic that you provided in the primary question. So subsequent to this hearing, you can be assured that I'll raise it. I meet weekly with the Chief Executive and the Chair. Well, not chair every week, but regularly with the Chief Executive, and that's a matter that I'm very happy to ask some questions on your behalf
Great.
outside this hearing.
Feel free to include me
Thank you.
anytime.